Well, good morning, people. How are y'all doing today? Hope today finds you doing well. Sharks in the water. I don't understand why people come to these intersections. They act like they're just going to blow right through it. You know, that's how accidents happen, but I digress. I wanted to talk about this morning. I don't know if you all seen the video of, now before I say anything about it, I wasn't planning on doing a live this morning or doing a video this morning. But I don't know if you all seen the video from Houston where this guy was having a promotion for his hair shop, promising 400 free bundles to people who get there by 8 a.m. And basically a near riot came of it. And, police had to, calm the crowd down and everything. And all these ladies out there trying to get their free bundles and stuff like that. I don't know what, and this comes from I saw a clip by a man named Anton Daniels. I think that's his name, Anton Daniels. And he was questioning the same thing. And I'm going to perpetuate that question. Why do women go so crazy at a hair shop for weave and all this type of stuff? I understand you want to look good and everything, stuff like that. There are times that my wife tells me, hey, honey, I think we need to go to the hair shop so I can get something for my hair and everything. I have no problem with that. But why do they go crazy? Why do a lot of these ladies go so crazy at a hair shop? Like a celebrity is there. One of the places that you really have to post security at is at a hair shop, because if these women can get away with it, you're going to see them stealing some wigs or some weave or whatever, some eyelashes. And I don't get it myself. I don't get it myself. But these same ladies, and they probably didn't show up with any money because they heard free and hair together, and they were like, ooh, free hair. And the dude who owns this shop, his big mistake was offering free bundles at his hair shop. And see, here's the thing too. The guy who owns this hair shop is black, and he probably opened up this hair shop because he wanted to help out the community and the black folks and everything and stuff like that. But most hair shops I know, most hair shops that I've seen are owned by Orientals. And them rascals would never do a free promotion like this because they know how ratchet and if you all don't like it, then tough. How ratchet a lot of these black women that come into these hair shops can be. The Koreans or whoever owns most of these shops, they wouldn't do anything like that. I could just imagine them sitting at home while this dude is making this promotion saying, boy, this rascal don't know what he is in for. But I don't understand why women get so rabid about their hair, about the weave and the wigs and the eyelashes, but you're not going to see this type of chaos at a Target or Walmart at the beginning of the school year for the kids to get school supplies. You're not going to see them acting like a bunch of rabid hyenas at a job, trying to get them a job or anything like that. All they care about is that hair and that weave. I was watching another video where this lady said she doesn't buy school supplies for her kids. That's the teacher's job. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. These are your kids. And it doesn't cost that much to buy school supplies for your kids. And these ladies, they have their hair done. They got their long fingernails, got their eyelashes. But they can't sacrifice to give their kids some school supplies. But if they know they're going to get some free hair, they act like absolute rabid ratchets. And like I said, if you don't like me using that term, I'm sorry for you, okay? But it gets on my nerves about what the attitudes of some of these black ladies. And something else I wanted to add to this. You know, just because you're an elderly person does not mean that you deserve respect. Now I'm going off into another subject. Just because you're elderly does not mean that you deserve respect. Now, don't get me wrong. Let me say this so people won't, oh, you don't respect elderly people. In general, I will respect an elderly person. In general. But there are times where they don't deserve your respect. And see, this was something that I've been talking about for decades. You know, I might get into a dispute with an elderly person. People be like, Vincent, no, that's an old woman, that's an old man. Don't you be talking to them like that. I'm like, well, they shouldn't be disrespecting me. You know, and they're like, oh, no, don't do that. That woman, she's old enough to be your grandmother and everything. I understand that. But that does not mean that they can talk to you and treat you any old kind of way. And I'm not saying that, you know, you should just go off on somebody because they're disrespecting you. I'm not saying that. But if you're going to correct me on disrespecting an elderly person, you need to correct the elderly person on disrespecting other people. Because a lot of these elderly people, they think because they're older, they can talk to you any old kind of way. And you're just supposed to take it. But if you talk to them that way, oh, no, you're disrespectful. God's going to strike you down with his lightning, you know, and everything, you know. I'm just being facetious when I say that. But I was watching another video about this dude in Walmart, and there was this older lady. She looked like she may have been in her 60s. And this older lady, she was belligerent. Just, I don't know what happened or whatever. But the dude looked like he was younger, maybe in his 30s, maybe in 40s. And she was just cussing him out. And he was like, okay, just go, you know, leave, you know, hey. And then she had the nerve to say, your mama gonna be crying over you. And he said, well, your folks might be crying over you. And she got mad. Oh, she took something and threw it at him and said, she cussed him out and said, my mama is dead. He didn't say anything about her mama. He didn't say anything about her mama. He just said, your folks will be crying about you. Now, when she said your mama gonna be crying about you, that to me, that's a threat. He probably could have had charges brought up against her because that's communicating a threat. And the dude was being chill. He was being chill. But she was, and you know, when you see an elderly person acting like this, you know that they were brought up like this. They grew up like this. They didn't just get like this because they're old and, you know, their brains are, you know, are fizzling out or something like that. They have been taught and they were brought up with this mindset. And now that they're elderly, they think you're supposed to just take it because they're elderly. I'm an older lady or I'm an older man. I see it mostly in older women. Sad to say, mostly in older black women. And I grew up with people like this. I grew up with people, with black women who were like this lady. And they were younger. They were teenagers. And I guarantee you, if I came across these same disrespectful people that I knew as teenagers back in my day, I guarantee you they act just like that lady does today. You know, because they got this thing, you know, and they do that little snaking of the neck, and, you know, you know, they grow up like that. It's learned behavior, and they probably learned it from their parents. I don't take no garbage from anybody. But those are just two things that disgust me, and we need to stop making provision for people like this. You know, the women with the hair, you know, oh, she trying to look good and all that, and the disrespectful elderly people. Look, let me tell you something. I am all for respecting elderly folks, but once you show disrespect, I don't care if the person is younger than you are. That does not mean that you can go off on them and be disrespectful to them and not receive something in return. Now, am I saying you should get something in return? I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying if that younger person that you're disrespecting goes off in your face because you're disrespecting them, don't sit there and talk about, hey, I'm old enough to be your grandmother, you need to respect me. No, no, it doesn't work that way. And if someone hauls off and knocks your lights out, don't be sitting there like, you know, he hit me. But you got up in his face, her face, swinging, throwing stuff, and then they say, nah, you're not going to be doing this. I'm going to defend myself. But folks, you know, give me your take on that. Is it okay for an elderly person to disrespect people and expect to be respected? Is it okay for women to crowd around a hair shop to get free bundles, but they won't do the same for their kids when it comes time for them to return to school? Give me your take. Tell me, you know. Just let me know. But anyway, I'm going to end this. You all take care of yourselves. Stay safe out there. Stay healthy. This is Vincent E. Brown. I'm signing off. And until the next time, I'll see you on The Rebound.
Mm-hmm.